last year, Multichoice Nigerian through the Chief Customer Officer, Multichoice Nigerian, Martin Mabutos, announced the price slash on its DSTV and GoTV decoders from Monday, February 1st, 2021. Multichoice further explained long line of efforts to lessen the economic impact of COVID-19 on customers and a reflection of its commitment to making quality entertainment more accessible to Nigerians. However, analysts argue this could be a masterstroke market strategy to continue dominating the TV service provision space in lieu of the agitations of pay-as-you-go billing system they have penally avoided. Our guests will be analyzing the discussion today that may be associated with the decision and the imminent competition that should ensue. Thanks for joining us today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendo Osisiago, and today we shall be discussing on price cuts on decoders by Multichoice Nigeria, the matters arising. Before we proceed with our discussion, let's look at the business stories for today. The external reserve stood at $36.39 billion as of January 27. The latest figures from the Central Bank of Nigeria revealed. Figures obtained from the CBN show that the reserve, which commenced the year at $35.63 billion, rose to $36.52 billion as of January 25, before experiencing a slight decline. On the external reserve position, the CBN noted that there had been an increase in the level of external reserve, which stood at $36.23 billion as of January 21, compared with $34.94 billion as of the end of November 2020. It stated that the reflected improvement in crude oil prices, partial global economic recovery, and optimism over the discovery and distribution of COVID-19 vaccines by most developed economies. The reserve had experienced declines in recent months due to low oil receipts. Trading activities on the floor of the Nigerian stock market finished the month of January impressive to emerge the best performing exchange in Africa. Available data revealed that activities on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, which opened the trading year at 21.06 trillion naira in the market capitalization and 40,270.72 in index points at the beginning of trading on January 4, 2021, closed the month at 22.19 trillion naira and 42,412 index points, hence and a year-to-date gain of about 1.13 trillion naira or 5.3% year-to-date. Equity ended the month plus 5.32%. Firms in USD terms, the NSE ranked 7th according to Bloomberg World Equities Index ranking. Oil and gas stock finally halted the week-long losing streak to finish higher, plus 0.63%, at Dover plus 8.57%, and Oando plus 2.50%, providing support on Friday. Investors traded a total of $17.18 million. Zenith retained the top spot on the activities chart with $3.20 million traded. With the challenge of pipeline vandalism lingering in the country, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation spent almost 50 billion naira to repair and manage pipelines in 10 months. The NNPC latest monthly report showed that a total of 363 vandalized points were recorded from January to October 2020. The corporation spent 5.48 billion naira on pipeline repairs and management costs in January, 6.74 billion naira in February, 7.69 billion naira in March, 7.84 billion naira in April, 7.99 billion naira in May, and 6.24 billion naira in June. It spent 1.80 billion naira in July, 1.49 billion naira in August, and 4.41 billion naira in October. No repairs and management cost was incurred in September, the report showed. The managing director of the Nigerian Pipeline and Storage Company, Ada Oyetunde, said the exercise was in conformity with the mandate of the federal government to prioritize the rehabilitation of critical downstream infrastructure across the country. The naira will weaken in the parallel market and likely depreciate to 470 against the dollar in 2021 if oil prices stay at $50 per barrel, Nigerian economics beast Mark Wiwen has said. Wiwen stated this in his presentation at the virtual forum tagged Vantage Forum 2021 organized by the Elevation Church on Saturday. According to Wiwen, this is the worst case scenario for 2021 in the case Nigerian produces a 1.5 million barrels per day with inflation rates of 16.15% in the full year. Speaking on the positive outlook for 2021, the expert said a dollar will sell for 464 naira in the parallel market if Nigerian oil price stand at $60 with 1.8 million barrels per day. This will bring inflation rates to 15.78 at year end, he argued. And that's the business update on television Nigerian. I am Chiwendu Ostisiago. We'll be taking a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
My name is Chiwendu Ostisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for staying with us again, and if you're just joining us, it's TV and Business Daily. Like I said earlier, we shall be discussing on price cuts on decoders by Multichoice Nigeria. The matters arising. My guest is in the studio. He is the public affairs analyst and the Secretary General of the League of African Development Students, Osikenye Eyinaya. You're welcome to TV and Business Daily today.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you today.
Nice to have you.
And first of all, how was the weekend?
It was great. Thank you.
Okay, now moving forward to the question for the day. We're talking about the price cuts on the decoders by the Multichoice in Nigeria, the matters arising. My first question for you today is how would you respond to this price slashed by the Multichoice?
Yes, thank you very much. I think effective from today, 1st of February, yes, we are expecting the Multichoice that are operators of the DSTV and the Go TV to slash the prices of their decoders. And again, we looked further to see if the price of subscription has also been. There's also a slight cut in their subscription rate for some of the lower bouquet. And of course, we have realized that it is only for, it is a drive towards a new what is it called? It is a drive towards getting new subscribers. Of course, entrance into the millions of subscribers they already have in the Nigeria's TV service provider space. Okay, so my reaction should be, okay, a step in the right direction, but I think further needs to be done, and further needs to be done to really show the Nigerian market that they appreciate and they want to remain dominant here on a symbiotic basis.
Well, most Nigerians are not really happy because they really insisted on the pay-as-you-go billing system, but they are not really doing anything about it. So what would you have to say?
Yes, I think head or tail, this is business. Even the courts is not a corporate, is not a social service. They are here for business, and of course, probably the pay-as-you-go would not guarantee them the business the basis to want to make more profit. And again, I also see it as a function of lack of competition. If the service provider space is made open, and of course we have more players, dominant players in the space, of course it will not be a problem. I take telecommunication for instance. You know, Econet was dominating the space, MTN was dominating the space, especially when Glo came in. Everywhere became different. You know, the cost of telecommunication keeps going down, and of course new packages are coming in to encourage people to subscribe. At a point, even the subscription rate for SIM was free of charge. That is also to tell you that that there is need for competition in this space for things to be better. I don't think the pay-as-you-go model of billing is also a good one, which only competition can draw DSTV to make it so.
Because most Nigerians still feel it's still fraud. Not pay as you go. Like, you watching your DSTV and you just have to pay at the end of the month. And most of them are always at home to sit to watch this. Sometimes they only get to watch their GoTV, DSTV, or just weekends.
Yes, judging from the Nigerians per se, we are predominantly people who go to work and somehow come back in the evening, and even people who are taken out of station. Predominantly in 24 hours, hardly get up to half of those 24 hours to stay at home. And even the balance 12 hours, you have to sleep. So probably a Nigerian on average watches these things, apart from the ones you have maybe in a place like this, or office space, or for domestic use. Nigerians do not really have that much time to watch on domestic basis. So I don't think Nigerians would want to think that the pay-as-you-go would pay them more, being that we are predominantly very enterprising people, always out of home, the children out of school. Even the wives that are ordinarily meant to be at home are all people who are working, very career women. So the houses are locked predominantly most of the times. And of course, pay-as-you-go would enable Nigerians be able to manage their expenditure on this, their budget on TV subscription. And I think it should be a way to go in year 2021. And I repeat again, it is only competition that can compel Multichoice to look that direction. TSTV had come with similar competition, and of course we have not given it that boost for them to see the light of the day. We have seen others trying to come up with something that can make them dominate them, or even put up a little coverage in the market. But again, in all of the 26 years of existence of DSTV in South Africa and in most sub-Saharan Africa, the dominance has actually been much. But I thought you cannot rule out the fact that Nigeria still remains their biggest market in Africa, and of course we have what it takes. If we give that subscription to any other TV service provider, it's going to be very significant for them. So I repeat again, the regulators, the government has to consider opening up the space wide enough for competition to come in, and the greatest gainers are going to be the Nigerians who are the subscribers in the end.
All right, thank you. Now, moving back to the topic, we were talking about the price cut on decoders by Multichoice Nigeria. Now, they claim that the reason behind that decision because to caution the effect of the COVID-19 on subscribers. Do you agree to that? Not totally, because I think, yes, we have a situation in our hands, and of course, people are not able to meet up with a lot of obligations. But again, we don't also forget that during the pandemic occasioned a lockdown, and a lockdown occasioned people staying at home more than they ever stayed before. So I would also think that DSTV should be sincere enough to realize that the telecommunication companies announced they actually went out of the trend. While other businesses were complaining of going down, telecommunication agreed that they made more money in that period than other periods, because people had enough time to make calls, be on their phones, data, and all of that. I also want to suspect, very confidently so, that people have also made more subscription in that period, and of course they cannot announce a downturn. Then again, thinking that Nigerians have and to cushion the effect of this, it doesn't really follow. It is good for them to come up with corporate social
activities. I'm also aware that Multichoice alone donated about 500 million to Nigeria alone, 200 to the federal government, 50 million only to the to Lagos state government, and of course, I'm also aware that the industry, that the creative industry, the few that have received the deadliest blow in this matter, received about so some millions from them as well. So I want to also think that they have done enough in the terms of responding, in terms of the corporate social responsibility, given the COVID-19 pandemic. But of course, I want to say that this is not corporate social responsibility. This is business, and a good one at that. And of course, a competition will be able to check them to be sure that they come up with such more of such packages to ensure that they get an ease of life for Nigerians, as it were.
Thank you very much. All right, before we go on a quick break, to what extent will this benefit Nigerians?
I think I would say, if I'm to grade it 1 to 10, I would say maybe 2 or 3, because the subscriber base they already have is quite huge. The people are not per se looking at what to acquire these decoders with. People are looking at their financial obligation monthly. So I think in the area of the billing system, the subscription, the monthly subscription or periodic subscription, as it were, is where it's going to be more impactful on Nigerians than to say, okay, you are buying, okay, there's almost a 50% slash in the price of one of their bouquet, and of course similar in others. So when somebody buys it, it's a one-off thing, and of course the subscription. So it is not so. I will not say it's not impactful. It is, but again, not so significant as to be able to make who was not about to buy it before buy it. Of course, it's a market strategy. It's going to boost their subscriber base, because when somebody goes into the shop to buy it, they will be able to buy it at a cheaper rate now, and then begin to pay more over time. So it's going to increase their business. That is a master stroke for them, if I'm asked.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Osikinyi. Now we'll be taking a quick break, and after the break, we'll continue with our discussion. Please stay with us.
My name is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for joining us again on the program. And if you're just joining us, it's TV and Business Daily, and we've been discussing on price cuts on decoders by Multichoice Nigeria. The masses rising. My guest has been discussing with us on that is a public affairs analyst and the Secretary General League of African Development Students, Mr. Osikinyi. Okay, now let's talk about how the government can actually help this system, this Multichoice in Nigeria. How do you think the government can come in?
Yes, thank you very much. I think there is a lot the government can do. When you talk about government, it's a huge enterprise. The government, of course, is the only regulator that is overseeing the activities of these people here in Nigeria, and of course, just as it is in every other country. I think the government can come up with a more up-to-date and contemporary regulation for these people, for TV service providers. They can actually also help them with certain other incentives. And I'm sure that these things are not necessarily all produced, I mean the decoders, are not all produced here in Nigeria. The government can begin to look at the huge potentials of employment if we begin to have part of the process of production here in Nigeria. Of course, that is going to make sure that part of the money taken out would also remain here. We also want to appreciate the fact that we have a whole lot of staff of the company here in Nigeria, coming from Nigeria. But again, we don't think it is enough. We think that what is to be produced there, what is to be used there can actually be produced. So in the state of making sure that the regulators ensure that the service providers do well in terms of the service provision, opening the space for better, healthier competition between Multichoice and other TV service providers. And of course, it's important to consider the huge space of the decoder market in Nigeria and proceed forthwith with considering, even if it is the assembly to be done here in Nigeria. We want to see a predominant part of the technology coming indigenously from Nigeria. Is going to be a good one for us, and then we will feel part of Multichoice to be. Of course, it's not a Nigerian company, of course, but they are doing well for us. We also want to feel part of it being impacting our economy. So if Multichoice really wants to impact the Nigerian economy, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 other things they could do in addition to what they have done already, like we have observed.
All right, thank you very much. So now, do you think that there's adequate competition in the Nigerian TV space, provision space?
The bold answer is no. The bold answer is no, because the Multichoice has dominated not just the Nigerian market, but of course predominantly the sub-Saharan African market. And of course, it has done very well in the past 26 years in sustaining its relevance in this space. So we have seen TSTV try to come up, but one wouldn't say that they have been able to pull off any master stroke in that regard. We've also seen others trying to come up, but again, DSTV has been so dominating. Their services have been monotonous, and of course, we think that the brand of competition we have seen in the telecommunication sector that has given us probably what is close to being the best in terms of pricing. Of course, the quality of service anyway is above average, the data usage and all of that. So we want such to come. Of course, deregulation, not deregulation now, allowing other players to come in. I don't want to bring the indigenous and the non-indigenous dichotomy. I'm also aware that the Multichoice can remember that as a South African company in nearby Zimbabwe, they've had issues with Kwesi, owned by Strive Merceria. Of course, Strive has actually been able to dominate most of the markets in terms of what ordinarily DSTV is supposed to provide. Not only even in terms of ShopRite. There's OK in Zimbabwe. The OK in Zimbabwe is actually dominating. So that is a pure indigenization process. But again, I don't think that indigenization should be what we are talking about right now, because we also have Nigerian brands in those countries as well. So what I think really that should be done is for us to open the market and allow competition to create, allow for better innovations, better pricing, and of course, if you are doing well, you would actually get more. This is just like we have in the telecommunications today. I think the space needs to be open for better competition. Today, the competition is actually next to not being there.
All right, thank you. Okay, reading a comment on Facebook, somebody is saying that Peggy Shandy is saying that DSTV are thieves, period. Do you agree to that? Because to me, I don't think they are. I think they're just into business.
Yeah, I wouldn't say thieves. They are only opportunists. They are taking opportunity of. They're taking undue opportunity. They are taking undue advantage of the lack of competition in the space here in Nigeria. The Nigeria space is a very huge space with a population of over 200 million. You don't get that anywhere else in Africa. You don't even get half of that anywhere else in Africa. So I think that the regulator should proceed forthwith to ensure, at ensuring that we open up the space, just like I say again and again, just like we did in telecommunication industry, whenever there is competition in Nigeria, there is always going to be a better output. So that there are thieves, okay, that's fine. It may sound a little unethical to say that, but again, what we want to clearly say is that DSTV, they are just opportunities taking advantage of the ineptitude of our regulators. So if the regulators have to put Nigerians first, they will see the reason to bring a little bit of polarity between DSTV and, okay, that's Multichoice now, and some other TV service providers, and it's going to put them on their toes. And of course, some of these, there's something that we see that SIM exploitation now can actually begin to reduce.
Thank you very much. So now, what's your advice and your final take now?
What I advise very clearly is that there should be a bit of, that competition needs to come. They need to deregulate the, I don't think the space is so gagged. We have to look at a situation where we bring in or encourage people, new TV service providers. We already have TSTV coming up. I don't know what has happened with TSTV hitherto, but again, they have not really entered the space the way they ought to have done so in the last 5 years. So we want a polarized business environment. That is my advice. Then secondly, we also want to compel to Multichoice to ensure that more of their process of production from the industry, from the coupling of the decoders to the programming, even up to the management of the service provision technology. There should be more Nigerians, allowed to be part of this process and all of that. That is number two. And I think also that there should be better regulation. If they don't regulate properly, of course, the business space will now be a thoroughfare for them to do almost anything that they think they could do. So I'm blaming the regulator more than I'm blaming this. So because I'm not sure this is the case with so many other countries. I've given a clear example of Zimbabwe that has actually, their approach has been indigenization to ensure that their local content companies survive more than the multinationals. And these are supposed to be SADC brothers, they are all in the same place. But they have come all the way to give us good service in the last 2 decades or so. But I think we should also expect more from them, and the regulators, which is under the federal government, would be able to ensure that we achieve a much more symbiotic relationship between us and them, rather than allowing for a free fall in terms of what they do here.
Thank you very much. There's another comment from Ajide Ayodeji Oluwafemi saying that I don't blame DSTV, I blame regulators and government. They are supposed to be free enterprise. Exactly what I just mentioned. I think the government needs to come up on this. The problem with Nigeria is that most oil economies, we tend to pay attention to this is a huge market. Mm-hmm. Some countries, these things are very significant to their national income at the end of the day. So Nigeria hardly pays attention to some of these areas that is considered little, or again, we are too elitist to not to realize that just a difference of about 1,000 or 2,000 naira per month means something to the civil servant that is earning just about 30,000 naira minimum wage. So I think our government should be less elitist and begin to realize that these little things are very significant dividends of democracy they can deliver to the people, rather than thinking about big things. So I think opening the space for competition and, of course, proper regulation to meet with contemporary needs is very, very important and very key. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Osikenyi, for your contribution today. I think most of us have learned, and most Nigerians have gained from what you said. You said we want a polarized business environment. We want the government to encourage new service provider, and there should be better regulation and opening space for competition. Thank you so much for coming on TV and Business today.
Thank you.
It's good to have you, sir.
Always.
And that's much we have for you today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwende Osisiago, and don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Do have a wonderful day. Bye for now.